Howdy folks, welcome to the channel. Today I want to talk about an absolute icon of a car. The Ford Crown Victoria used to be the king of the highway here in the United States. Holy crap! Its mere silhouette evoked fear in the hearts of spirited drivers like you and me across the country. Now retired from that role, the Crown Vic has stepped up to service the public in a new way. A way that's equally as respectable and arguably more important than its former role to protect and serve. The Crown Vic is now king of the burnout box, prince of the 100-shot, and master of the understeer. But it's not all sunshine and roses. No, today we're going to talk about some of the flaws that plague this beast of a car. The 4.6-liter two-valve engines that Ford was putting in these things were absolute beasts, and they were well known for ticking over 300,000 miles. But they didn't come without their issues, so today we're going to talk about them. We're going to go ahead and list them in order from least expensive to most expensive, so let's go ahead and get right into this. Alrighty, so today we're working with two different Crown Vics. We have right here an 08 P71. And when you hear P71, just so you know, that's shorthand for Police Interceptor, because all police interceptors have P71 right there in the middle of the VIN. I also have a 2004 civilian model Crown Vic right there. Some of these issues affect both models in the same way, some of them affect it a little bit differently, so I'll go over that when I get to them. So, for starters here, let's talk about the headlights. You'll see on this side, this headlight is okay, but you can see a little bit of condensation back there. However, on this side, the headlight is completely chocked full of condensation. There's water droplets on the inside, and the inside of this lens is hazed over. Let's go out and take a look at the 04 here. You'll see this one, which has a crack in it, so that's not a very good example. This one is the same situation, and so is this one. So like I said, we're starting out cheap and easy problems. The first one is just the condensation in those headlights that happens on a lot of these Crown Vics. Next time you're looking at a Crown Vic, take a peek at the headlights. I bet you one or both of them will have condensation on the inside of them. Moving on here to another exterior issue, we have the paint. The paint on these Crown Vics, because these were fleet cars, Ford did not put quality paint, nor did they spend a lot of effort into painting these cars. So the result, and you can see here a lot better on the 04, is the paint peels completely off, and then the metal underneath is exposed to the elements and begins to rust. That happens on nearly all of these Crown Vics. The paint on them is just trash. The only reason this one looks a little better is because the guy I bought it from and his son wanted to go ahead and take a crack at painting this thing, and they stopped on the roof and the trunk. They did the roof and the trunk, and they look pretty good until you start getting up close. And you could see that overspray line right there. And you can see on the edges here, the paint just wasn't done quite properly. But you know, it's a better job than I would have done. I'm terrible at painting. All right, moving on to the inside of the cab here. The next three problems on our list have to do with this right here, and that's the HVAC system. And like I said before, this is one of the ones that's a little bit different from Police Interceptor to civilian model. So I'll show you the difference here in just a minute. As far as Police Interceptors go, a common problem that can happen is you can have a vacuum leak on the back side. I'm gonna pull this knob off real quick here, but you're not gonna be able to see anything anyway. The mechanism that runs this vent selector runs off of vacuum, and the back of it is split into two halves, and you can get a vacuum leak around the seal where those two halves are split. The seal wears out, and it just starts leaking vacuum in between that seam right there. So what I did to fix that on this is I took a little bit of super glue and I put it all along the seam. I clamped it back together and let it cure for 24 hours. Popped it back in, this thing was good to go, no more vacuum leak. Now the next problem with this HVAC system, which is a little bit harder to solve, is the HVAC mixing valve, and that's this knob right here, but the problem is not in this knob. The problem is actually located in your dashboard, right about here. This is one axis, and then right about here, this is the other axis. It's basically buried way back in your dash, kind of behind where this button is right here. So the way to get to it is you pull this trim piece off, which is pretty easy. You just open up the passenger door, grab that on the end and pop it off. Grab it on the end, pop it off. And then you can just pull all the tabs out the whole way along. It's just held in there by tabs. Then what you do is you take this airbag out, but not before disconnecting the battery. With this airbag and your glove box all removed, you have just enough room to reach in there with your hands and touch the vent selector. Now I mean it, you have just enough room to touch the vent selector. If you have teeny tiny hands, you might be able to get in there and work on it, but you're not fitting any tools back there. I mean, nothing. Pretty much the only way to do it is to break the thing out of there and fix everything you break and install the new one. And it's pretty much gonna be permanently installed until the next time you have to go in there and break it out again. Unless you fancy pulling the entire dash out or paying some guy a fortune to pull the dash out themselves. But what they're probably gonna end up doing is pocket the money and break it out of there and fix it the way I just told you to do it. So, you know, those are your options. If you can't adjust your heat anymore and you're stuck in either hot or cold, there's your problem. And let's go ahead and climb into the 04 Crown Vic, which is a civilian model, so I can show you this next one. Now, most of the civilian models, other than I believe maybe the base trim level, have this automatic climate control thing. So it's not as simple as the other one with just the knobs. It has solenoids and other random vacuum actuated crap inside of it that ends up failing and leaking vacuum. So what happens is generally on these civilian model Crown Vics with the automatic climate control, they'll get stuck in the defrost mode because that's how they're made to fail safely in the defrost mode so that in the wintertime you're not screwed. So in general, if you're stuck on defrost and you can't select any other vents, it's because the vacuum solenoids in the back of this HVAC unit have failed and you need to pull them out and have those O-rings replaced. So, same deal, you pull this trim panel off and then you take out this unit right here. It's either 2 screws, 1 on either side, or 4 screws, 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom. Pull this unit out and then there's a couple companies that you can send it off to. I believe it's probably like 50 bucks, or you could buy a new one, or you could pull one out of a junkyard, or if you're a little bit mechanically inclined, you could probably pull that thing out of there and find a couple of videos on YouTube on how to replace them yourself. You could probably do it with O-rings that you get in a kit from Harbor Freight. If it was me, I'd go that route. Additionally, the heat mixing valve can fail in these things too, and they're located in about the same spot. This is the only real difference between the civilian and the P71 Crown Vics, is that the solenoids inside of this unit right here can fail. All right, that's 5 common problems and failures down. Let's move on. Number 6 lives under the hood. So we'll go ahead and pop this sucker open. First, let's take a second to admire how clean this thing is in the engine bay, other than that rat's nest of police wiring over there. Anyway, problem number 6 lives right here under your intake and your upper coolant line. So if you peek right down there, let me grab a flashlight. So if you peek right down here at that little brick with a bunch of hoses coming out of it, that is your ABS pump module. This black unit right here with the connector coming off of it, tapping it with my flashlight, this is what it looks like from outside of the car. It's a black thing with a connector on top and a connector on the bottom. That is your ABS control module. That is a super common failure point on these Crown Vics. Now, when I first got this Crown Vic, my ABS module was failed. Let me jump inside the cab real quick and show you what it looks like when it's failed. So, like I said, I went to a junkyard and pulled one off of a different P71 Crown Vic and got lucky that it worked. So let's take a look here. In this little corner, there's gonna be a couple idiot lights that pop up when I first turn this ignition on. Like I said, this is fixed, so they're gonna go away. But there's gonna be an ABS light as well as a parking brake light that come on real quick here. Right there. There's a brake light and an ABS light in the bottom left corner. So generally what happens in these Crown Vics is you'll turn the car on in the morning with a cold engine and those lights will not come on at first. You'll be driving along and everything will be hunky-dory. Then all of a sudden those 2 lights will pop up, parking brake and ABS lights. And that's because your ABS system has just run its systems check and realized that that ABS module is not making proper communication. So that's another one of those issues. Much like in the civilian model, you can send off this unit right here in the civilian model to have repairs made on it. That module, brand new, is like $800 from Ford. I think you can get it from like AutoZone or the likes for maybe a little bit less, like $500 or $600, but still it's astronomically expensive. So what you can do is you can go down to a junkyard, and my local pick and pull was only charging like 68 bucks for it. I got one of them, and lucky me, it worked on the first go. But what I could have done if it didn't work is I could have taken that part right back into pick and pull. And most of these junkyards have policies like this, where if your part doesn't work, you could take it back in and exchange it for another one or get store credit for it. So I mean, it's not the best, but if you just need that one part, then you can keep swapping parts out until you find one that works. The only thing you're spending is your time. So to me, that's the best way to get that one done. Let's go ahead and jump out of the car and talk about this next issue. So problem number 7, which is another super common failure point on these Crown Vics, none of you guys with a Crown Vic are safe. And that's this intake manifold right here. It's the same problem happens on anything with these 4.6 liter engines in this year range with the plastic intake manifold. This part right here from the factory before they updated it, was made out of plastic. And I don't know at what point they did update it, but this part right here, like I said, is made of plastic from the factory. You can see the updated model is made of aluminum. Now this is a Dorman part. I got it from AutoZone. Dorman is the only one who makes an updated version of this. Ford also makes their own version of it, but it's a lot more expensive. I mean, you guys know how it is. Honestly, I'd put this right up there on the level with that heater mixing valve. If you can do that, then you can easily do this. It's just a little bit more paying attention to torque specs and, you know, torque patterns. Doot, 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 and making sure you pay attention to what you take off. So if you're mechanically inclined, that should be no problem for you. Problem number 8, and the second to last issue that happens with these Crown Vics, and not just Crown Vics, but anything with the 4.6 liter engines, is the spark plugs are known to self-eject. So what that means is you'll be driving down the road and one of your spark plugs can shoot out of the hole, or you'll be going to replace one and the threads can easily strip out because they're just not good threads. There's a fix for that, but it's not cheap. Generally, you have to take it to a shop or take the heads off to do it. You can do it without taking the heads off. You just run the risk of getting metal shavings. You basically have to drill the hole out a little bit bigger, re-thread it, and then you put a new threaded insert that steps it back down to the original size in there, and there's a way to lock them in. I have one spark plug on this Crown Vic. You can see it's this one right here that sticks up a little bit and it wiggles a lot because it doesn't seat all the way down because it sets up just a little bit higher because of that spark plug fix. I think that's a common problem with a lot of Ford's engines. So keep in mind that your spark plug may just go ahead and remove itself. Now the last and final problem, number 9 on our list, it's apparently a common failure. I've never seen it on a Crown Vic myself. I've seen it in videos and I've seen it across the internet for sure. But the 2 Crown Vics that I've owned and any Crown Vic that I've ever driven was super solid, and that is transmission failure. Yep, you guys have probably read about it. If you're looking to get a Crown Vic yourself, or if you already own a Crown Vic, then you've probably heard about transmission failure being a common problem with these Crown Vics. However, I have an 04 with 133,000 miles and an 08 with 145,000 miles. This one's a police interceptor, so you know this baby was abused. That one is just a civilian grandma car, so I mean, who knows how much it was abused. But both of them have solid transmissions at the moment. However, that could change at any point. Based on my research and what I know from the internet and what I've seen on YouTube, these transmissions are absolutely known to fail. All that being said, the Crown Vic, now the Panther platform with the 4.6 engine is a great and super reliable platform. Like I said at the beginning of this video, these are well known for going over 300,000 miles, and I've driven lots of them with over 200,000 miles. And they drove identical to the one that's sitting right behind me. So don't let any of that dissuade you from buying a Crown Vic. If you're looking into buying a Crown Vic, don't let that turn you away. Instead, use these as arrows in your quiver when you go to buy one yourself. You know a couple of things to look out for, and you know a couple of things that you can use to get that price down just a little bit lower. So if you're a little bit mechanically inclined, you can use that as ammunition. If you're not mechanically inclined, you can use it as something to keep away from. So bottom line, get yourself a Crown Vic, but beware of the problems, know that they exist, but know that none of these problems are going to threaten the longevity of the engine. The only ones that could possibly be a long-term issue are the spark plug self-ejecting. That's a pretty decent problem, but it's not super common. The other one is the intake manifold. If that happens, you probably want to get that fixed sooner rather than later so you're not sitting there burning a whole bunch of coolant, because the coolant passage is right next to an intake runner. If coolant starts to leak into the intake runner, you'll be sitting there burning coolant, and that's another symptom of your failed intake manifold, is burning coolant. So like I said, don't let any of these problems dissuade you. If you like this video, hit the like button. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next one.